Hello guys, Mr. Red Apple here. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to start sort of a new series in conjunction with the Let's Chat thing I've been doing. This is going to be called Sporty Talk, and that took me 30 seconds to think of, and I was very impressed with myself actually. So today's episode of Sporty Talk, we're going to talk about the Premier League, more importantly my Premier League predictions. Now granted the opening weekend has already happened, which was last weekend, so some of the scores have kind of swayed some of my positioning slightly. However, as I'm recording this, Man United have just smashed Swansea 4-0, but I did write these predictions before that game, so I haven't let that affect it in any way at all. So yeah, I guess we'll crack on with my Premier League predictions for the 2017-2018 season rather. So without further ado, let's start this prediction for the Premier League this season. In 20th, I've got Brighton and Hove Albion, who had a sort of unspectacular first Premier League game against Man City, which is not an easy first game, even at home. But I just can't see them staying up this season. Not getting any big names that you can think might be able to hold them up. So 20th place, I have gone for Brighton and Hove Albion. 19th, I've gone for Newcastle, and the reason I've gone for Newcastle is I still think that they're just a championship side really. Not made any massive signings. Looked unconvincing against Tottenham. A lot of controversy in that game, to be fair. John Joe Shelby's their captain, and he's not remarkable. In fairness, and there's no one in that team that can really push on with them. I could be wrong, but I think Newcastle will go straight back down. They're doing a bit of a yo-yo thing at the moment. They have been doing for the past few years. So yeah, Newcastle, 19th place. And in 18th place, I have gone for Swansea City. A recently departed rock of the team, Gylfi Sigurdsson, has left to join Everton. So even with him, I kind of had Swansea in 17th, 18th, sort of just hovering. But without him, I think they're a surefire for going down. So 18th place, I've gone for Swansea City. This next one might come to a surprise, as a surprise to a few of you. In 17th, I've gone for Bournemouth. Eddie Howe's a really good manager, and he's been superseding expectation the past couple of seasons. However, this year, which people have been saying every season really since they got promoted, I just think this isn't the one for them. I don't think they'll get relegated, but I don't think they'll be pushing for that sort of where they were last season. I think they'll just be where you'd expect them. I don't know. So yeah, for 17th place, I've gone for Bournemouth. Now 16th, I've gone for Stoke City. Now a team that sometimes goes above and beyond, other times finishes exactly where you'd expect them. And I think this season's going to be one where they finish a little bit lower than where you'd think they would do. Not for any particular reason. Lost against Everton last weekend, 1-0. I don't know, just they lost on Arnautovic. I just can't see them doing anything special. There are a few teams in the league where they are mid-table teams, aren't they? They're there not to make up numbers as such, but aren't going to be pushing for the sort of top six, and aren't going to be, don't really have much of a fear of getting relegated. I think Stoke's one of those teams this season. So yeah, 16th place, Stoke City. In 15th, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Now I don't mind Crystal Palace as a team. I love Wilfried Zaha. I think he's a quality player. Real potential. They got spanked by the new boys Huddersfield last weekend, 3-0. Not that that's loads to go off. Huddersfield were up for it, obviously. And that French striker they've got up top is real quality. But I just don't see Crystal Palace a little bit like Stoke. I mean, the sort of teams I've got from 17th to 10th are the teams that I don't think there's loads going for them. Might have a couple of shock results here and there maybe. I mean, a bit of a shock result them losing 3-0 to Huddersfield, but they just didn't have the fight really. New manager, new system. But we'll see. So 15th place, Crystal Palace. 14th, I've gone for Leicester City. Not a terrible season, terrible start to the season last year. Ended on a fair high, I guess. Did okay. Didn't hit anywhere near the heights they did the season prior. I think this is where Leicester City is a team, positional wise, people would expect when they're in the Premier League. So, yeah, 14th. However, Jamie Vardy didn't have a quality game last week when they were playing. Let me just check quickly. Arsenal lost 4-3. But I think Arsenal will be up there this season. I'm not going to tell you where just yet. But Vardy, if he can fire like he did the title-winning season, maybe could finish quite a bit higher than 14th. But at the moment, as it stands, 14th for Leicester City. It pains me to put the next team this high. It pains me to even be talking about them in this league as a Blackburn Rovers fan. But in 13th, I've gone for Burnley. Not just because they managed a pretty remarkable win against Chelsea, away as well, but because I think they've sort of gathered a bit of momentum, a bit of experience in the Premier League the past couple of seasons. It does pay me to say it. They've got a decent manager. Sean Dyche is a really good manager. So yeah, not really want to talk too much about them. So 13th is Burnley. 12th next is a team that some seasons do really well, other seasons exactly where they are now. I've gone for Southampton. Don't see them pushing the heights, to be honest. I think they'll just have a pretty decent season and finish in 12th. So not much more to be said about Southampton really. 12th. 11th, I've gone for West Ham. Now, sometimes that last season wasn't great for them. To be fair, they've moved to a new ground, obviously. So it just take a bit of adjusting. I think this will be another adjustment season for them before they start pushing again, like they did a couple of seasons prior, and they finished 7th, or I think it was. I think this is another one of those seasons for them. So yeah, 11th place I've gone for West Ham, and in 10th it's the new boys, Huddersfield. When teams come up, sometimes they can either go straight back down, like I think Brighton and Newcastle will do, or they play remarkable, like Bournemouth did when they came up. I think Huddersfield are going to do a Bournemouth when they came up and sort of finish in a position where you wouldn't quite expect them to finish. Cracking game against Crystal Palace. Like I said before, their striker, whose name I should have probably researched his name before doing this video, but their striker, the French lad, blonde hair I think it is, was quality, and they look good. Good passing. Yeah, Huddersfield, 10th place. So now we're looking at sort of the top half of the table, and in 9th I've gone for West Brom. Why? I'm not quite sure myself. I just think they'll have a pretty decent season this year. I think they're not a bad side. You know, 1-0 win against Bournemouth was probably expected at home. I just think they'll have a decent season. Berahino is a quality player. He can be when he wants to show up. But yeah, I think they'll finish quite strong this season. So West Brom in 9th position. In 8th, I've got Watford. Now I like Watford as a team. I think they show some real character when they play. Especially when they played Chelsea last game of the season last year, or one of the last games. It was up and down that game, and they did the same against Liverpool last weekend. I think they're just always up for a fight, Watford as a team, and I think they'll be pushing those places. And I think if they can build on it on previous seasons, then there's no reason why I don't think they can finish in sort of top half of the table. So I'm going to put them down as 8th, and yeah, number 8, Watford. Now here's the first surprise, I would say, the big one. This is the big one in the video. It's who I've got down as 7th. I am going a little bit off what happened last weekend. It's some big teams don't get off to the best start sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff in the news about this in a minute about whether the owner wants to, is he giving the manager enough support in terms of signing players. Their depth wasn't great last season, to be fair, but they managed to win it, and it's Chelsea. I don't think they'll get a top 6 finish this season. I really don't. I think they're going to... The same what happened to them a couple of years ago when they finished 10th, I think it was. I think they're going to do another one of those seasons. I don't think it's going to be great. Morata looked quality, to be fair. He'll bag some goals. But it's getting... The top 6 is getting tighter and tighter every season. I feel, anyway. And I think Chelsea are going to have a season where they're not going to do too well. And I think Conte will end up getting sacked, to be honest. So 7th place I've gone for Chelsea. So in 6th I've gone for the Blue Merseyside club. I've gone for Everton. They've obviously lost Lukaku. That's a big hit. Of course it is. He's a huge player. He scores in important games, and he gets some goals that win or claw back a point for them. But I still don't see them really challenging sort of top 4, top 5 positions just yet, especially with the loss of Lukaku. Rooney looked okay. I think he'll bag a couple of goals for them this season. He won't play every game, I wouldn't have thought. He's getting on a little bit. But I think Everton will do decent this season. I think 6th is a reasonable position for them to finish. And 5th, I've gone for the Red Merseyside club. I've gone for Liverpool. Obviously had a pretty decent season last year, and they've had a couple of decent seasons, to be fair. Fans won't be too happy that they're still not pushing for that sort of top spot. And Coutinho's sort of on the edge. If he stays, then maybe they could finish 4th. If he does go, even in January, I think they'll struggle. Not struggle in terms of the league, but struggle to really push for sort of Champions League football, unless they focus on maybe winning the Champions League, but I doubt that. But they've still got to play Hoffenheim in the second leg, but they look good against Hoffenheim, to be fair. But yeah, 5th, I'm going to go for Liverpool, 5th place. Now in 4th, I have gone for Spurs, Tottenham Hotspurs. I think, obviously, cracking season last year, but they haven't really built on their squad this season. Kane's obviously going to get a load of goals, Ali's going to be around, Eriksen's going to be playing quality. But I think the 3 teams I've put above them have sort of kind of built on their team a bit more and showing that it's going to be close, really close. And I think the top 5 are going to be close, and I'm not going to be right in these predictions, I don't think, but it's what I think at the minute. So in 4th place, I've gone for Tottenham Hotspurs. In 3rd place, I have gone for Manchester Blue, Man City. I've gone for. I think top 3 this season is going to be the closest it's ever been. I really do. I think it's going to be a couple of points in it, and it's going to be a last day of the season dogfight between 3 teams. I honestly do think that's the way it's going to go. So Man City in 3rd for me this season. A lot of people's predictions have put them top. A lot of people have put them a little bit further down. I think they're going to finish 3rd. All right, in 2nd place on my Premier League predictions for this season, it's Arsenal. I think Wenger will probably retire after this season, or he's getting very close to it. I think he's going to have a quality season with them, with the signing of Lacazette, who I love as a player. I think he's absolutely brilliant, like a Thierry Henry kind of player, not just because he's French, but because he bags loads of goals. But yeah, I think it's going to be literally like a point or two, like seasons, early 2000s when it was United Arsenal. I think it's going to be one of those seasons. I think there's going to be a real dogfight between these two this season, and I'd love to see it. So yeah, 2nd place, I have gone for Arsenal. So in this coveted Mr. Red Apple's top spot for my Premier League prediction this season is Manchester United, obviously. I know they've just smashed 2 teams 4-0 in 2 weekends, West Ham and Swansea. However, I think the second they signed Lukaku, they were going to be seriously challenging for that title, and I think they'll do it. I really do. I think they're going to finish top this season. They've had a couple of poor seasons, to be fair, not finishing where they should. They got into the Champions League this year through winning the Europa League, so they went down that avenue. I think if they didn't win that final against Ajax, then maybe Lukaku wouldn't have gone to them, and they'd be having another disappointing year. So I think Jose securing Champions League for them has really helped them out. And yeah, it made a good couple of signings, and with having that big Belgium up front, it's going to be good. So I think 1st place is Manchester United. So I'll leave sort of my predictions here, there, I don't know, somewhere on the screen. And if you want, you can let me know who you think is going to finish in what position. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you want to let me know in the old comments or whatever, you could just ignore it. It's completely up to you. But other than that, that's been my Premier League predictions for the 2017-28 season. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will see you soon, guys. Cheers.